could be
Yeah,
putting your price out there. Hey, I only want to pay 800, and they're only focused in on the 800, and that might be 2.5%, and they don't even realize it because you just
absolutely.
presented it a number at the end. Woo!
I never focus on interest rate. What I try to focus on is payment. And yes, when I fill out the forms and escrow has to do the forms, there has to be an interest rate. But if I can get away with never saying an interest rate, I am down. Like a lot of times I'll verbally put my offers out there and I won't even say an interest rate, but I'll say the payment, right? For example, I'll give you 300, but I'll give you $1,000 a month or whatever. Again, these are just structures because I have found over the years, the more often you talk about interest rates, the more often it just becomes a problem because when you write an offer to someone with an interest rate, they're going to talk to their friends or their accountants or their lawyers, and they're going to say, why would you give somebody 2%, blah, 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 blah. So I just want to talk about payment. And then again, I want to educate them on, okay, well, if I'm going to be a landlord, which I'm not hiding the fact, I'm trying to buy a rental house. I can only rent it for 15. Taxes in your state are X, your insurance is Y, this, that, the other. I fundamentally can't pay more than $987. Like $987 is the max. And once they understand $987, I don't care where we go from there. I don't care if they want 13% interest. As long as the payment ends up at $987 and I'm only putting 10 or 15% down, it can be 23%. But guess what? That purchase price is collapsing if they want that interest rate.
Okay, no, that makes sense also. So you could be putting and to play devil's advocate, you could be putting your price out there. Hey, I only want to pay 800, and they're only focused in on the 800, and that might be 2.5%, and they don't even realize it because you just presented it a number at the end. Woo! I'm gonna have to, I know I'm on this podcast, but I'm gonna have to listen to this again. All right, I do want to more than.
Well, let's just go to that because that's the power of this. Because again, you got to remember you are operating with somebody who this is probably their only time they're selling something like this, right? Where you and I buy stuff like I've bought in hundreds of properties and I've written thousands of offers. This is all like this is just game. This is like chess to me. It's fun. For them, you never figure out. You never know what their issue. Like I'll tell you this, Gus. There's been times where I have written offers where my offer price is above their selling price. Not much, maybe 10 grand. But again, as long as I can control the payment and get a longer term, I'll gladly do it. Right. I told the story about I've told the story a lot, but there was a house that I tried to buy for almost a year. I think it was like 9 months. And I will swear up and down, swear on the Holy Bible, the house was only worth 100 grand. And I wrote, I don't know, lots of offers for this. And I finally got the guy on the phone and he just wouldn't budge. And he finally told me his number. He said he wanted 120. And I laughed. And I said, just kind of like nonchalantly, like, dude, the only way I could pay 120 is if you carried the note. And I said it like not expecting him to respond. And he's like, oh, you mean I can get a payment? Like an interest payment? I'm like, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So, long story short, we go through this whole conversation. I do the math, all of that. He ends up selling me a 100K house for 120 grand, 10% down, 0% interest for 30 years. I overpaid by 20 grand to get 30-year money at zero.
That's unbeatable right there.
I mean, I'm never paying off that loan, not early anyway. Yeah.
So I did want to ask a question about the term, because I did one owner financing deal